My name is Tim Entwisle. I'm the Director and Chief Executive at the Royal Botanic Gardens, Melbourne, and I've got a fascination with plants generally, but I love the idea that a garden is full of biodiversity or biological diversity. Lots of animals, lots of plants, fungi, insects, all kinds of things interacting together, even algae in our garden. So one of the fascinating things about biodiversity and about gardens generally is that they're changing all the time. So every day you go out into a garden, your own home garden or a botanic garden, it's always different. And that's what really fascinates me, and particularly how they change through the year. So the seasons we use here, for example, we have this set of 4 seasons we're borrowed or taken from the UK in the Northern Hemisphere. They don't really apply to Australia. Aboriginal people have used between 2 to 7, maybe more seasons, all different for all different places across the country, which makes sense. Just look at the moment at the daffodils. They're out blooming now in the middle of winter. Most people don't really have much sense of when things should flower or when the seasons start, and they think spring started, but daffodils always flower in winter. Most of the Australian bush comes into flower in August. A great example is the wattle or the acacia, a really iconic Australian plant, and it flowers all through the year. Somewhere there's a wattle flowering somewhere in Australia. But if you look at the peak flowering, most wattles come out in about late July, August. And to me, that's our early spring or sprinter. It's between winter and spring. So that's August and September. Then you've got October and November, which I think we should call sprummer. That's between spring and summer. A big long summer in most of Australia, a short autumn and a short winter. The other thing you notice in Australia is we don't really have any dead season or dull season when there's not something happening in the garden. And so in winter, for example, the camellias are looking fantastic. So they're great at the moment. During summer, probably that's our lowest period in Australia, but still in our gardens we can have those lovely sort of perennials that are out in flower. So there's always something going on in each of the seasons. And if we tracked it more closely, we can really start to see what's going on with our biodiversity and how it's changing, not only day to day, season by season, year by year, and over those bigger climatic changes we're going to see in the future. Biodiversity is the variety of life. It's the variation you see in your garden, all the different species, and it's what we need to watch and take care of if we're going to look after our garden in a changing world.